Hi guys. So 5 days since I have taken ayahuasca. Now, at this point when I'm recording the video, it's about an hour away from being 5 days since I drank it. So, of course, then there was the several hours of being on it and whatnot. But anyway, 5 days from my very first ayahuasca experience, and 5 things that have shifted in me. So, of course, I mentioned in previous videos that you have the experience and you have like major things happen through the experience, and everybody's different because everybody needs something different. But for me, it took me on a journey through my own life, my mother's life, my grandmother's life, and it allowed me to release some attachments to pain that didn't belong to me. But because energy transfers, when I was a kid, I picked up on some stress, some anxiety that was happening in my mom's life, and she was latched on, and probably still is, to some of the stuff that my grandmother carried. And so it took me through all of that, and it helped me to understand my own roots, which is an area where I struggled. My root chakra is, it's a lot better now, but is an area where I've struggled for a long time, my whole life actually. The root chakra actually develops from the womb to 12 months old. So if you have root chakra issues, it is something that goes back that far to birth. And so it took me to that. It allowed me to release that. And that was the big, huge thing. But since then, of course, ayahuasca stays in you for 30 days, so I continue to get lessons, downloads, and things just keep shifting. Every night since I had taken the ayahuasca, at about the same time I took the medicine, it's like it kind of kicks in again, and I don't go in through like this massive trip or anything, but it's really at the same time of night that I can feel it make its presence known again. And although it will never leave me mentally, the shifts get bigger at nighttime, and then it's like it gives me all day to process the shift that went on the night before, and then it comes back. So right now, I'm trying to get through this before more shit starts coming. So I took some notes because a lot of things have shifted. But on 5 things that I wanted to share with you guys. So, of course, the major release, and we won't even call that one. I got 5 other things, but that was, the release of attachment to pain that is not mine was the big lesson in finding my roots, and then understanding that my roots were created long before my mother gave birth to me. My roots were in my grandparents' love and the foundation that they laid for our family. So that was really big. But because of that major thing, what I have found happening over the last 5 days is that I'm now trusting my own personal foundations way more, because I no longer have that disconnect to my root chakra. And it's crazy because I've been doing so much work for so many years that I've healed so drastically, but it just keeps elevating. And so I thought my root chakra was doing much better, and it was doing much better in comparison to a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. But I have a new elevated trust in many of the foundations in which I have built in my life. And I'm going to give you two examples of that, even though it goes much further. But one example would be Twisted Tree, which is a company I launched last year. But I launched it based on a lot of shit. Based on a foundation I had built to creating physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. And I didn't trust that foundation as fully as maybe as I just didn't trust it that much. Of course, I knew the amount of time I put in it. I knew the amount of effort I put it in it. I knew the success that I had seen, but I did not trust the foundation. I didn't even understand the foundation or how solid it was, I guess is a good way to put that, is I didn't realize that was the foundation. Just like I didn't understand that the foundation was in my grandparents and the love that they shared and the creation of my family from there, So I didn't understand how strong my foundation for healing was and how strong my foundation for Twisted Tree is. And so now I trust that. There is no question. Like, the knowledge I have to share with you guys is huge. The things I've learned along the way, that's my foundation. The hours and hours, thousands of hours I've put into studying this. Thousands and thousands and thousands of hours I put into practicing this. That's my foundation. That's Twisted Tree's foundation. The roots are so strong in this company and the ability to create change in all of you, and I just trust it now. There is no doubt in my mind what I have to offer, what Twisted Tree is all about. It's huge. The next thing along this same trusting my foundation is the practices that I put into place for myself. And now I know logically that every single day I wake up and I meditate and I do my affirmations and I do my focus wheels and I eat my healthy food. Like, I understand that, I understood intellectually that I had built the habits. But now, to the core of all of my existence, that is my foundation. That is the foundation of who I am, and that is so strong. There is no shaking, there is no rocking the foundation that I have built for myself. And I trust that now. I have so much trust in myself, my ability, what I'm here to do. And there is no more doubt. All of the doubt that I had on this path is lifted because I found my foundation. I found my roots. I found my stability in who I am, who I'm becoming, who I have been. So that's the first big thing. I was trying not to make this one super long, but here I go. So I'm going to try to get through the next ones a little bit faster. I have learned that there are areas where I have zero foundation. It's so funny that how things extend into all of our lives. So, of course, I've been working on the root chakra. I've known that that's been an issue. And so here I am laying these foundations and aspects of my life. But there are so many areas where I've just willy-nilly did. There's zero foundation. One of those things is in many of the relationships that I have with people. And this goes to a lot of familial relationships, and a lot of that is because I struggle with the root chakra, so it would make sense that some of my family members also struggle with that same chakra, and so we all struggle with having a solid foundation in this life in general, and in our relationships. And so we base all of our interactions on what was, not what is, and there just isn't a solid foundation in many of the relationships I've had, which is why there have been a lot of issues in my relationships, whether that be romantic relationships, friendships, or familial relationships. And a lot of it is because there was not a solid foundation. and mostly because I didn't understand how to create one. And so I not only learned that I need to maybe go back and rebuild many of my relationships and how to do that, I've also learned how to build a foundation with new relationships and new people who come into my life, and how to build something solid, not one based on expectations or based on false creations of someone that is not who they are, but to build a foundation based on who the person is when I meet them, who they are the next time I see them, and who they are every time I see them, and how that is ever changing. But how do I create a foundation for new relationships so that I don't have issues that I've had in the past? And that is one thing I am seeing very clearly in how to do. And it's great because I have some fairly new people in my life, and I'm able to work on that right now. So that's really cool. The next thing is that I am learning to understand processes better. So I, like, for example, with Twisted Tree, like, I didn't recognize how solid the foundation was, so I didn't know how to take the next steps to allow it to grow. You know, I have a lot of visions for Twisted Tree and where I want to take it, but there was so much chaos because I thought I had to secure the roots, and I thought I had to, like, I didn't know where to go to get to the next step to where I want to be. How do I build my audience? How do I build my brand? How do I see the processes now. It's a lot more work than I realized, and I'm ready to do that work, but I see it. I see processes better, and that's just one example, but you know, that carries over into many different other areas of life. The next thing is I have fewer distractions and much less procrastination. And so I'm kind of been, you know, a procrastinator a lot of my life, and that's because there's so much chaos. I don't know the processes. I don't know what to do next, so I procrastinate and do something else. But I'm so driven and so motivated and so eager to move through this next part of my journey, which is building my brand, building my company, and growing and taking it to where I want to be. Like, I'm not distracted anymore. Like, I'm ready. I know what to do, and I'm taking the steps to do it, and I'm feeding my company the energy that it requires to grow, and I'm going to watch it grow, and it's beautiful. I understand the process. And therefore, I'm not distracted, or I'm not procrastinating, and I just trust. I trust the foundation I built, and I trust the visions I have, and now I know how to move forward. It is so beautiful, and I'm excited to share all of that with you guys. And then the last thing that I am going to touch base on right now is patience. Patience is something that I've struggled with my entire life, and I don't think I do anymore. So just to brief on this one is I don't have to jump the gun on things. I can allow my brain to understand it before I react. One example on that is I've been doing a lot of shadow work with this ayahuasca, and there's going to be a whole video on that. And I almost did that video instead of this one, but it wasn't ready yet because I haven't lived through all the processes yet. It's not ready to share, so I'm not going to share it. Even though it comes with some fun things and a great story and blah, 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 I can wait. I can wait till it's fully ready to release. I don't have to rush things anymore because I trust. So I guess that's the big thing, is I trust. And because I trust, I also have patience that I can allow things to unfold, and it doesn't have to happen right now. It all goes together, and it all goes back to the foundation. It's incredible. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I love you all, and namaste.